Our team at Atlantic Construction Podcast is excited to announce our newest partner, Luminous Labs. Luminous Labs is the leading provider of architectural visualizations for developers, homeowners, architects, and more. Luminous Labs has a team of experienced designers and visualizers using cutting-edge technology to bring your 3D renderings to life. Using these architectural visualizations will give you a sense of scale, space, and design, allowing you to make informed decisions about your projects before construction even begins. These high-end architectural visualizations are a perfect tool for presentations, marketing materials, and design reviews, allowing you to communicate your vision to stakeholders, clients, and more. We'd like to thank our co-branded partner, Procore Technology. Procore Technologies is the global leader in construction management software. We look forward to having many guests from across the country from all different capacities under the Procore partnership umbrella. We'd like to thank our formal partner, Paving Building Products. Paving has a 60,000 square foot facilitation center currently underway, as well as acquired a new location in Windsor. Lots of change and big news with Paving, and we look forward to having them back on the podcast in the near future. Okay, welcome back to the Atlantic Construction Podcast. Pleased to have our guest today from Brown's Paving, from Sussex, New Brunswick, Nathan Bernard's business development sales lead.
One of the sales guys, one of many, I guess. Four of us all together, but I was the only one prepared to make the trip down today, I guess. So.
Yeah, no, thanks for making the trip down. You picked a good day to make the trip down.
Yeah.
You were telling me just before going live that you've been with Brown's Paving since 06, right out of high school.
06, yeah.
So
it's been a while.
It's kind of rare that somebody sticks it out. I mean, it happens. I guess it happens a lot, but not.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, like I was saying, I just kind of I had a summer job all lined up that was going to take me till September, and I got waitlisted for college. So I knew somebody that worked there, and they said, hey, come in, sit down for an interview. He said, it's a little late in the season to start at a paving company, but, try it out, see if you like it. So went down, did the interview.
What time year was that?
It was like early September.
Okay.
Yeah,
in the fall,
yeah.
Because you only have your 5-month window there or something, maybe? Not.
Yeah, like usually we're kind of fired up. Like we try to fire up by the second week of May. And then depending on the weather, I've seen us go.
The ideal temperature? What's your capacity?
Depending on what you're doing. I mean, the asphalt, if it's in a truck and tarped, it'll stay hot. Like, you could have ambient temperature like 5-6 degrees, and it's going to stay hot. It gets worked through the paver. You're going to be able to lay it.
Yeah.
But the ground temperature comes into play. Like, you don't want any frost in the ground, so you kind of got to keep an eye on things. And what'll happen too, like in the fall, if you have a wet fall, you just don't have those dry, hot days to dry the ground out. So you can get yourself in trouble that way too. So you just got to be cautious, be careful, and just kind of, cross your fingers that Mother Nature stays on your side. So.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying, you started late in the season on your first.
Started in September. Started in September and started out actually traffic control was where I started out. So I started out flagging. We had a couple bigger contracts. We were actually working out in Funday Park, out towards Elma. And kind of worked my way into like a laborer position. Mm-hmm. From there, actually,
that's the starting point.
That's
working
the
in traffic control. You're kind of just stationary. You're not really
exactly. Yeah, nobody moves, nobody gets hurt, kind of deal. So kind of trial by fire, and from there went into like I said, the laborer side, running equipment, and supervised the patching crew for a few years. Worked on our large paving crew that we have. Worked on the prep crew side of things for a couple summers running machinery, and then from there kind of migrated into sales.
Nice, man. Yeah. So that's 17 years. 17, I have that right?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it should be. Yeah, 17 in September, I think. Yeah. So
wow. Yeah, and lots of variety. Lots of different positions.
It's good. Yeah, and
it helps you now in your job when you're dealing with new clients and dealing with the guys.
That was probably one of the biggest things is like to be well-rounded. If it's one thing to, if you're trying to sell a car to somebody, well, most cars are the same. Some have leather, some have, heated seats, whatever. But as a general rule of thumb, most cars do the same thing. So it's pretty easy to sell something like that. But when you're pricing a job, you've got to be able to look at all the different variables. Is there asphalt in place? What's the ground look like now?
Asphalt in place that you would cover over and do a top over?
Typically remove. Yeah. We
don't
do too many top coats now unless you're looking at like, if you pave the street or you're going to pave a street base and seal, what you may end up doing is basing it 1 year, sealing it the next per contract. But as far as like the residential side of things, unless you're
why do you have to rip it up? Why can't you just, like, if you're a lot of roofs, I'm just comparing it to like a roof assembly. A lot of times, instead of a full replacement, they'll just do a repair and put the
Yeah, no, that's a fair question, right? So like the big thing is like that would be like, let's say the roof is a perfect example to compare it to. So let's say your roof is 10, 12 years old. You're seeing some shingles blowing off in the breeze, and you call a roofing contractor. Well, they're going to say, hey, your roof's only 10 or 12 years old. Let's replace a few of these shingles, right? So the equivalent of, you've got a crack in your driveway. Let's cut it out and fix it, let's say. And for a certain point, you're able to do that. With what happens though typically is you're not calling somebody until your roof's leaking. So how long did your roof leak for before you knew it was leaking? So are you going to call a contractor and maybe they'll come and throw some shingles on it and fix it up? Or is the problem maybe a little deeper than that now? So what happens with the driveway typically is somebody's not calling until, their cars, their oil pans dragging on their car, pulling in and out, or, something significant kind of has to happen.
Significant cracks or heaving.
Exactly,
or
yeah. And typically by the time it gets to that point, it's because there's something a little bit deeper going on.
Yeah.
So what we find now, like, especially in the industry, is like, there's so much stuff that's already paved. Like, even for me, like I started in sales in, let's say 2013. So in 2013, like it was almost like, I'd say like 70-30. So 70% of the people that called didn't have asphalt in place, but they had either built a house or it's something that they wanted to do, but maybe, didn't have the budget for it. So now they're going to look at doing it. And then it just kept trending the other way. So let's say 70-30, 60-40, 50-50. Well, now it's almost gone the other way where it's like 60-40. Oh, my driveway's paved. It's, 15, 20, 25 years old. I've got some significant damages happening to it. I got to look at redoing it. And that seems to be more the market we're into now, is places with existing asphalt, as far as the residential side goes.
Right, because you do a lot of parking lots too, right?
We do, yeah, we do.
Could be parking lots that are multi-res or public buildings, so you do commercial.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, there's as much as there's kind of like new construction and stuff like that, the other thing that we look at too, is a big portion of our business really is maintenance. So we've got quite a few like property development people. We've got some property management firms that they'll sole source us out specifically for the asphalt. And for that it's maintaining. It's
is that a package deal that you're offering for some of these parking lot buildings and stuff?
Yeah, typically, we'll factor that in.
Like the warranty plus the
maintenance. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So and that being said, is it seems like everything is kind of getting bigger. So when you look at these property management firms, they may have, not too many of them have one or two clients now. They may be looking after seven or eight different buildings or different properties, right? So you kind of do what you can for each one to just maintain and try to keep everything working and functioning and trying to delay the inevitable, right? Which is a full redo at some point that, down the road, it's, everything's got a lifespan.
And what, like, is it 20 years in a typically driveway parking lot? Is that the
I think
interval?
Yeah, in all reality, if everything is done, properly the way it should be done, that your typical lifespan should be, 20, 25 years, sometimes 30.
But it depends on what kind of weather we've had in those 30 years, right?
It's the weather
patterns.
It's the weather, and it's the maintenance side of it. If something, because I mean, we're welcome to the Maritimes. We've got weather, we've got frost and snow.
Yeah,
and
same
ice
with roofing, and maybe that is a good analogy because it's so weather dependent, right?
Yep.
But building envelope, the parking lots, like
exactly.
The climate is so full of moisture.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's kind of where we started with that roofing analogy. But like for us, like if I show up to a driveway and I see, some heaving, some cracking, there's going to be water damage, there's going to be grades. It's a big thing. Like the idea of you getting your driveway paved would say, we're going to finish at what the finished grade should be. So that finished grade is going to have, water running away from your house. It's going to have water running away from the garage. It's going to, we're going to shape it and grade it in a way that water is going to run off and never be a problem. So the idea is if something's already paved, it becomes very difficult to put more on top of that asphalt that's already there and maintain grade, because you're already at the top of it, when it comes to certain structures.
And you're not solving the problem underneath.
You're not, exactly. That would be like somebody showing up to fix your roof and you've got 3 broken trusses and some rotten sheathing on your roof, and they throw a couple of shingles on it and call it good. Well, that's not fixing the problem. It's hiding it, but the problem's still there.
So let's drill into this in such a way, because I know some people are listening and they don't know really anything about paving or asphalt.
Sure.
And I'm pretty close to being one of those people. There's other people that are listening that own asphalt companies, paving companies.
Sure, yeah.
When they say like, okay, just tell me what it is a square foot.
Yep.
It's all the same. Why go with you than the next? And I'm thinking, okay, well, you guys have a facility where you get the aggregates in and you produce your own asphalt.
Sure.
So that makes it different than some other offerings.
Yeah.
Instead of buying it from, a supplier.
Yeah.
And then the different, there may be there's some different install techniques, whatever, you've got 50 years to the company, the way you do things. So there's all kinds of reasons why someone would go with, but take us from, explore that a little bit for listeners.
I love that you went there, because I would say that's probably the number one question asked to us.
Yeah, because
if our phone rings and it's a customer or a potential customer on the other end of that line, typically that is the question they're asking. Like, I'm thinking about getting my driveway paved. What is it a square foot? What's the square foot price?
Between $6 and $12, depending. Is that what? It's not that simple.
It's not that simple. It can't be that simple.
The grade of the land.
100%. Yeah. There's so many variables when it comes down to, what the job is. We know how to do it. We know, like our sheer costs. Yes. We know what it costs for us to make, a metric ton of asphalt. We know what it costs for our dump trucks to drive up and down the road, per hour. We know our crew costs. We know our fuel costs. All that stuff is built into like our crew costs, and then it's built into our asphalt price. So in theory, it's very easy to come up with a price. The reality is the variable is always time. So when I think of a paving job, any paving job, whether it's a driveway, whether it's a parking lot, whether it's patching, repair, crack sealing, it comes down for that as tons and time. So it's going to be how many tons of asphalt I'm going to need, how many tons of aggregate and maybe existing asphalt I'll have to remove and then replace.
Right, you say aggregate, there's gravel
base,
right?
Yeah, because you want to build a subgrade up, right?
Is
so
it like
typically
brownstone kind of thing.
So for our typical asphalt, like our driveway bases and parking lots and stuff, most stuff now is spec'd for like you're looking like a bed of say 12 inches of like a 3-inch minus for your your base, like your pit run, and then you'd want 6 inches of like 1.25 on the top surface, and that would be for your fine grading. So. Okay. In all stage compacted, of course, as it goes in, because the idea is that as soon as our prep crew leaves, that driveway needs to be able to pave. So, within typically like our residential customers, once the driveway's prepped, we're back paving within 5 to 7 days.
And so when would a driveway need to be like different from your typical 4-inch thick asphalt? Because that's pretty much the par, right?
So 4 inches is like it would be like your municipal grade. So like, let's say if like we're doing like a street paving, typically.
Okay, so that's a municipal.
Yeah, you're looking like municipal or like at the upper end of commercial.
And residential is more like 2,
residential. Yeah, so like our residential spec is 2.5 inches after compaction, and that's a D-mix asphalt. So essentially, what a D-mix is, we'll say for layman's terms, would be like a 1/2 inch minus. So the biggest stone we have in there is 1/2 inch, and then it grades down from there.
Okay. Sometimes you can see that on sunny days when it's kind of melting 100%. A bit. You can see the different size stones.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So we have, like for that, we have a D mix. We also have a C mix, which is like a 5/8 minus. It's a dense mix.
Okay.
Kind of more on the commercial side of things.
Right. So you use that more in commercial because of the parking lot element
100%.
and the traffic.
And you can pave a little thicker with it too. Like the idea behind asphalt, you don't necessarily get your strength from thickness, but you get your strength and longevity from compaction.
Okay.
So like with concrete, concrete's a chemical curing. It does it itself. So if you put 10 inches of concrete down, if it sets long enough, it's going to cure. with asphalt, you have to get the compaction out of it. So you got to get, the big thing is like your air voids. So you want to get that air kind of pushed out. You want to reach your maximum density of the material, and that's going to give you your best wear and
How do you get the air?
So for us, like our asphalt paver, the screed on the paver actually vibrates, right? So as you're laying it and it's getting screeded off, the screed vibrates, so that takes it to a certain percentage of compaction.
Right.
From there, it's done with your steel drum rollers. Yeah. We do have some combi rollers as well. So what that is, it's got a steel drum on the front and it's got rubber tires on the back. So the idea is to just mesh that material together as they roll over it to reach your maximum compaction. Mm-hmm. So, and the thing that becomes so important about your subgrade is that asphalt surface is going to be over top of your gravel, your aggregates. You're only ever going to be able to compact that asphalt as high as that gravel's compacted.
Right. That's going to be the minimum, maximum, right? The maximum that's compaction. Yeah.
So the idea behind
rocks aren't going to compress.
And the reason that it's so important to have a base is because if you have a kind of a mixed bag of clay, gravel, organics like sod,
which is common.
I've seen it. Like, so you'd be surprised.
So there's ways of filling out this baking a cake that makes it not as expensive to like, is it why these different elements?
It's just the reality is like, 20 years ago when some of these driveways that we're looking at now,
it's what their supply of, right?
Exactly. It's just what was done, right? Asphalt was cheap, gravel was cheap, so some of the jobs were done, let's say, cheap or trying to be inexpensive or whatever. So you never really know what you're gonna dig up when you get into that. So when the customers call and say, what's the square foot price, like I say, there's so many variables. So we can, they could say my driveway's, 20 by 40. Well, that's an 800 square foot driveway. As soon as they say that, I have a number in my head. But once you say, like for us, like we do kind of southeastern New Brunswick. So let's say we go from like Rossay, Quispamsis area all the way to Moncton. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a few different geographic areas in there. We've worked enough in them all that, we kind of have a feel for, well, that area is known to have clay or whatever different areas, right? Yeah. So if they say that they're in maybe Riverview, well, Riverview isn't one of those areas where the ground that's there isn't really the best. So if they tell me that their driveway's 20 years old, they've got very significant depressions in their driveway now. They've got some issues in the spring where, they can see the driveway moving. It's a pretty safe assumption that what we would call there is a full excavation. So for us, I know automatically that I'm going to have to show up there. We'll have to dig all the existing asphalt out at minimum 18 inches of the subgrade below.
So then you got to bring in the fill.
Bring the fill back in. So
similar to like a perk test for a foundation to test the soil. Are you doing some of that too?
There is, and you'll get into that more on like
bigger
projects. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like street paving and stuff like that. There's compaction tests and stuff. Sometimes it's spec, sometimes it's not. So, but for us, So like, you can kind of go from there and say, it could be X amount per square foot. But that's a really hard thing to do over the phone too, because no matter what you say, well, I can ballpark it. Well, if you show up there and it's worse than you could have ever expected, then that's when people are like, well, you told me, it's a tough industry.
Yeah.
And
it's not that easy to ballpark it. Right?
It's not, and stuff's not getting any cheaper. You look at the price of fuel, you look at like price of asphalt liquid has taken a couple of significant leaps in the last couple of years. So unfortunately, that's one of those costs that it gets tacked onto the customer's bill. So, expectations are high. So for us, like that's when we kind of look as a company and say, we got to double down on this because people are paying more than ever. So I'd rather have them or try to explain to them, maybe we are more than the next person, but I want to build you a driveway that's going to last for 25 years. Like the only thing that is worse than paying, $5,000 for a job that's going to last you 5 years or 6 years before you start seeing cracking and stuff like that, is knowing that you could have paid $7,500 and the driveway would be there for 25 years.
Yeah.
So
So what's a typical warranty that you would provide? Is it a couple of years?
Yeah, exactly. So for us, like if we get into a situation, like people do call and their driveways are in relatively good shape, but they're aesthetic wise, whatever it may be, they decide that, the driveway is 20 years old. I'd like to get it redone. So what we'll typically do is dig out the existing asphalt, dig it a couple test holes. If we think that the gravel is suitable, you can kind of base it off the existing driveway at that point. Hey, it's still in pretty good shape. Then, we'll regrade what's there, incorporate a little bit more gravel, and pave over top. So with something like that, what we'll do is we'll offer kind of a 1-year warranty on it. So that's defects, cracking, anything like that, anything like kind of a manufacturer's warranty. If something goes wrong with this asphalt, we're going to be there to fix it.
Right.
That being said, that same customer calls 4 years later and myself or one of the other sales guys deals with them. Chances are that we're going to look after it anyway, or do what we can to help them out. It's not in a year we lose your phone number and you can't call us. We're there for our customers. We're there. We're here to solve problems. So, and then what goes on from there? So if we end up doing like a full rebuild. So we dig out the asphalt, we dig out 1.5 feet or 2 feet of gravel. We supply the gravel, we compact it, we pave it. At that point, we know what's there. We repave the driveway. With that, you get a 2-year warranty.
Okay.
So, and that's kind of a peace of mind, because when you get into a situation like that, I mean, the price essentially doubles, because although all that work is done by us, it's essentially 2 jobs. There's 2 different crews that show up there to do it. One guy is there, or one crew is there to make sure that driveway base is everything it needs to be. The other guys are showing up there to pave it. So, and they're just, they're timely, they take a while. So that's kind of where your cost comes in now, right? It's your crew costs, right? It's all those trucks are burning fuel, all that equipment's burning fuel.
These guys part of a union? No.
No.
Not that.
I think there may be some, some companies that are, but I don't think too many kicking around here.
No.
Yeah.
Tell us, Nathan, just a little bit like of, kind of the history of Brown's Paving, just for context for listeners, and then maybe we can get into just like, what the company looks like now and the structure.
For sure. So like for the history as I know it, we'll say.
Since your inception.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
what you said, 57?
Yeah, so it's been Brown's Paving Limited since 57. Before that, I believe it was WA.
And to start in Sussex?
Yeah. I think that like the family's from Florenceville area, I believe, originally, or Centerville up that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so from my understanding, WA Browns and Sons originally started in like 47. And then from there, they kind of incorporated into the Brown's Paving in 57. They were a little bit more nomadic at first, like they had a mobile plant. And then eventually, they settled down and put some roots right in Sussex, or Sussex Corner, I guess. So.
And is that where like your plants are for the asphalt? Your plants are for the concrete?
So we have our asphalt plant is in Sussex Corner, our main office. We do have our gravel pit there as well, but that's more like stockpiled material.
Okay.
So like our crusher spread and our pits, that most of the stuff that we manufacture material out of would be like on the 114. So heading out towards like the Park Road and Helma.
You still you have just the one office location?
We do. We do.
Okay.
We do have, a couple different like pieces of land that we own. Install
work, right? Exactly. Only in southern New Brunswick, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of our area,
what's your boundary lines where you'll do work in?
Yeah. So like for us, like we've done work as far as like St. John, Rossay, Hampton, that area. Like we'll do like Chipman, Minto region, and then like towards like Salisbury, Moncton, Riverview, and then kind of Elma out towards the coast. Like that's kind of our working region. And that's like for our paving operations, we'll say. So our maintenance side of things, like for patching and stuff like that, the guys do go a little bit further. But it's, like we do.
And that's because, it's easy to get out there for a little bit of patching and stuff. You don't have to send trucks, you don't have to send material. You don't have to send.
Yeah. It's a little bit less invasive. They can go essentially with, a dump truck load of asphalt that if it's tarped and in a good dump, it's going to stay hot for the majority of the day. They can go up down the road and go where they need to go and get that stuff done. Yeah.
Is there a temperature where it's too hot to do
Yes.
Because I know it can't be too cold, but
No, and it goes the other way too. So a lot of contracts now are speccing what they call WMA, which is warm mix asphalt. So there's limitations now. There's limitations on
it's
stuff
not going to
both
set
ways.
right or cure right.
Yeah,
if it's a certain,
exactly. Yeah, so it just affects the product that's in it. So when you add that warm mix, it's an additive that's added to the asphalt.
Right.
The idea behind it is that you can actually manipulate and compact the asphalt at a little bit lower temperature.
Okay.
So like I say, like with concrete, it's chemical. So as soon as you mix it, it's a chemical reaction. It's going to start to harden. It's at whatever that window is. With asphalt, it's based off heat. So I mean, if it's a hot mix on a hot day, it's going to stay hot for longer. Right. So the longevity, the workability is going to stretch out further.
How long are usually you're supposed to stay off it? 24 hours?
Yeah. So for us, like our customers, like our residential customers and commercial, if it's a parking lot, we try to we say 3 days typically.
Right.
Yeah. So residential customers and stuff, we're like, if you can stay off for 3 days, it just gives everything a chance to set up and cool
some
down.
Of these parking lots where guys are wanting to set material on there and they've got deliveries coming in. And so it makes it tough logistically, although you're there usually toward the end of the job anyway.
Yeah.
Very close to the end.
For sure. Yeah. And the logistics are there. I mean, even new construction and stuff like that, people as soon as they move in, the first thing they want to do is pave their driveway. But it's like, well, what are your plans? Well, I'm going to build a garage. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So you kind of got to steer people sometimes in the right direction where, you don't want to have this investment, because it is at this point in time, it's an investment, because you'd be hard pressed to pave any driveway of any size for under, $4,000 or $5,000, maybe $6,000. So to do that and then, risk damage to it because you're going to have, like you say, somebody dropping off materials, or you're going to have a concrete truck drive over it. At the end of the day, residential driveways are residential. You're kind of pushing the commercial envelope. If you got you got 9 meters of concrete backing in on a hot summer day, something could happen. So you kind of want to do it in a way where, it's almost like the last thing you do is kind of your driveway, your landscaping. Everything's built, everything's done.
Yeah, it's so important to schedule that.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's a big thing. We noticed that, I bet you probably the hardest year.
Who's the main trade you're coordinating with when you're going to do a driveway? It's not often the homeowner or it's building maintenance guy in the parking lot, but it's sometimes the site super, the crew.
It varies. It varies. Yeah, the residential stuff, 90% of the time we're dealing directly with the homeowner on it. And that the reason being, they're the ones that called, they got us. Typically it will stay, within contact between the homeowner and whomever the salesperson is, up until the point of, they decide that they want to go ahead with it.
Yeah.
So once they confirm, then there's still a good chance that, one of us will reach out, the night before. Let's say we come to prep or we come to pave, but typically now that's done, in-house. We do have a scheduling program that we use. It kind of tracks all our customers, all their information, emails, anything that transpires between a salesperson and customer is logged through this app, which works really well, because if something happens that one of us is away but the customer calls, we have access to files and folders and pictures, and we kind of all have the knowledge of what's been said and what's going on. Communication's key, and that's right between customers and crews. I mean, everybody's got to know what the right hand's got to know what the left hand is doing at all times, because it's very easy to get in situations. So.
Absolutely. So tell us, you were mentioning earlier, there's about 50 approximately, on your install crew.
Yep. So and overall, there's about 50 guys. So with that, we've got kind of our plant crew. So we've got the guy sitting, he's the mad scientist, creating all the material.
That's a pretty unique position.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot more than just rock and tar.
So what's his background?
So he's actually kind of the same
as you, just been around it his whole life.
He's did some, he's
taking the proper courses.
He's gone, down to different places. There's some bigger companies and asphalt manufacturers and, asphalt equipment manufacturers and plant producers and stuff in the States that put on some of these hot mix courses. So they go over, your plant maintenance. It gives you the rundown of everything and what you should incorporate into your own plant for maintenance and quality controls.
So do you have numbers like for your output there, like asphalt, say coming out, you're producing a week or something? Like, is it measured in like cubic meters? How do you?
Yeah, so essentially, like everything's scaled, right? So liquid scaled, and then everything that we produce, be it, whether we sell it to another contractor or we sell to DTI or it's our own jobs, everything that goes in, it's either weighed on the way in or weighed on the way out. So, when we know what we have in our pit at any given time for kind of aggregates, and then, all our asphalt, of course, is weighed as it goes out. So that whether it's going, like I say, to a general contractor or for our own use. So we kind of know at the end of the year, where we're at with our numbers, what our targets are and all that stuff. So it's all kind of monitored. So.
Yeah. So you've got that guy that's
This
is one position, right? For
so
both plants or just the one plant?
So we just got we've got one asphalt plant. So Brandon DeBow is our plant operator.
Okay.
And then we've got our loader operator. So those two are they're kind of the main guys, right? So they're keeping everything running. So and Brandon looks after all his own maintenance and stuff like that. If something breaks down, we've got.
So you're talking about all the equipment, right? Your trucks, your rollers,
no, just the plant itself.
Okay, right.
Yeah, the plant itself. And then we've got 2 mechanics now that are full time in the shop as well.
Right.
So we've got we've got a diesel mechanic and automotive mechanic in there.
Yeah.
And then we've got actually he used to be the paving crew supervisor for years. So actually back when I was on the paving crew, he was back.
So you have a lot of guys similar to you where there's kind of switching vertically to all these different positions.
100%.
Right? Good for variety.
Yeah. Everybody kind of gets bounced around a little bit and find a spot, so it's a big thing. You don't want people to get complacent, right? People, you do something for so long.
Yeah, variety is the spice of life, right? Especially like, and it is monotonous, but like it's healthy in a way. I mean, I've done lots of, similar work in construction where it is the same thing every day, and there's a healthy side to that too, right?
For sure.
Sometimes it's what you need, right? For the next month or 6 months,
right,
6 months or a year even. But after a while, it is nice to be able to make a change, and you have the opportunity in the company to do that.
It's huge, and like you say, that variety there. So as you kind of work through your career, there's positions there available that, you can kind of take a step back and learn to do something different, learn a new trade, learn a new, a new skill set. Yeah. That's gonna keep you working, keep you happy, and keep you showing.
Oh, you're learning, right? You're learning different things too.
Yeah, that's right.
That's important.
Yeah. So we've got, our plant crew, we've got 2 guys over there. We've got our 2 guys in the shop. We've got
you still have internal traffic crew, like it does all your traffic control.
So our traffic control, we'll kind of.
Have you heard of that new company 2020 something where it's got this new technology for traffic control? I think it might be more for like maybe larger downtown core type of things.
Yeah, like long duration.
There's a lot of new technology for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there is. Yeah, 100%. And that's, that's the thing. Like for us, it would be nice to kind of get, long duration is good because you kind of got your one setup. You got your one mob. Most of your equipment stays there aside from your trucks going in and out. But for us, like it's really, those jobs are few and far between. We've done a couple big jobs like that. Like we did the potash mine in Sussex. I'd be lying if I told you the year because I don't remember. But like that was one of those jobs where we had one really big area. There was a lot of material there, and we kind of set up shop there for a couple of weeks and went at it. But like for us, we're if we're doing residential driveways, depending on the size of the driveway, we could do 4, 5, 6 driveways a day. If we go into a subdivision, I want to say earlier in the spring, we went to a subdivision and did 9 driveways because they're right beside each other.
Right, all the same
design. And for that
design, but layout,
exactly,
the same size.
Yeah. And for that, you could consider long duration maybe because we were on the same street all day. But for the most part, if we do 6 driveways, they could be 15, 20, 30 kilometers apart, right? So we're always moving. We're continually moving. So
that's nice when you do get a subdivision where you're working with a home builder that's doing the whole subdivision. Something like here, I'm thinking of Cresco or someone like that, local. But
that's right. It does make the logistics a little easier.
Yeah.
But for us, I mean, that's if we do 5 driveways, that's 5 mobs for the paving crew. That's 5 sign setups. That's 5 traffic control patterns. There's a lot that goes into it, and at the end of the day, that all gets kind of factored into, you know, our costs and our price and stuff kind of gets passed on. But yeah, like I said, and
I feel like I keep cutting you off
oh,
here.
no worries.
But you were still explaining the crew.
We'll get back to it. Circle back, right? So so and then like for, you know, we've got a couple lovely secretaries in the office that kind of keep the ball rolling and you know, making sure everyone's paying their bills and all that stuff, and they help with scheduling as well. And then, like I say, 4 sales guys, and then the crews. I mean, everybody tied together. We're looking at, you know, we're pushing probably 50 guys. So
what's the culture like? Is it kind of everybody? Does everybody kind of? I'm
It's
sure
good.
you go like a month maybe without seeing some of these guys, or more than that even. Like, do you get together quarterly? Is there
so we're pretty grassroots in that way, as in like we're a little bit old school. So we've got the technology and we've got, you know, the programs in place that realistically they've got a calendar that they can look at. They've got all the contact information. They've got the information on the job all on their cell phones. So we are kind of moving that direction of, like, you know, we're living in a technologically based world where, you know, there's stuff there that can help you out. But that doesn't stop us from every day having that morning meeting, whether you want to call it a toolbox talk or tailgate meeting. You know, we've got a conference room.
And what's that look like? Okay, so the management staff, the sales guys, the owners.
You're looking at sales guy.
Some of the foremen maybe.
Yeah,
if you have
sales guy, owner, foremans, basically is what you're looking at there. And
once a week or every morning?
Every morning.
Wow.
Every morning, yeah.
So we're looking consistent.
Yeah, between, you know, 6:30 and 7. That's usually the first step. You know, the guys are still getting their first coffee into them and stuff, but it just kind of, it gives us a chance to kind of pass all that information on. So this is, you know, this is what you're doing today. This may be, you know, some of the things that maybe we see that you should look out for, whether it's, you know, it's on a busy street, it's on a, you know, it's a big driveway, you're looking for, you know, you need trucking power to do it. All that stuff gets figured out in the mornings before the guys leave. There are times where, you know, if the prep crew is out getting a driveway ready, they already know what they're doing, right? So they may just hop back into what they're doing the next day and go on. But at some point, there's going to be a phone call or some scheduling where, you know, they're gonna give us a call and we're gonna say, okay, this is where you're going next. You know, we try to always keep the lines of communication open for that, for sure. So.
Right. So what about you know, like when I'm thinking about you're talking about your journey and you know, starting out in traffic control, working your way up, you know, labor position. And what about, especially like when it comes to the machineries, you know, the rollers and the compactors and the, you know, pouring the asphalt and stuff, like what's training look like for called apprentices? Like, you know, it's not like you can learn everything at once, but like there's different,
that's
you know, kind of like an assembly line on the site, right? Where
for
how
sure.
things are working. And
It's, I mean,
some guys are just have the shovels and
that's right. Well, and
not just, but that's what's needed.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing about it is too, like I'd say for around here, like there's a multitude of, we'll say, equipment training academies and stuff like that, right? I'm sure you guys have some in Nova Scotia. I know we have some in New Brunswick.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be hard pressed to go to any of those academies and see any paving equipment there.
Right. It's just not.
It's the basic, right? It's your grader, your backhoe, your dozer, loader.
It's more excavation, civil
stuff. It's more excavation than civil. So like you're
even someone with that background might be a good hire then.
100%. If somebody is interested in the trade, you know, maybe they think they want to run equipment, but there is, you know, there's opportunities there, you know, to kind of branch out and look at a different side of things. Like I know I spent, you know, 2 or 3 years running the side of the paver. So you're controlling the thickness of asphalt and the look of the asphalt, you know, via running the controls on the side of the machine. It's the guys you see standing on the side of the highway when they're going up the road, just looking at the toe point on the machine, right? It's one of those jobs where, you know, it's not luxurious. Sorry, it's not luxurious by any stretch, but it's one of those things that at the end of the day, or at the end of the job,
there's lots of jobs in construction that are not glamorous. They're not sexy. They're not luxurious.
Yeah, but it's one of those jobs where you look back at the end of the day and you say, hey, I did that.
It's good money.
Yeah, it's good.
Tangible.
It's good money.
Work.
It's tangible.
You feel good about honest work.
100%. Yeah. So it's a lot of it though. It has to be, and because of that, because of I don't want to say lack of training or resources or anything like that. You know, it's one of those things. It's kind of got to be trial by fire. You know, like
Right. Somebody's just got to try it out and say, you know
just-
what, this isn't for me. I tried this for 3 months and
Sure.
it's not
Yeah.
working.
Yeah. 100%. But you know, you gotta, you know, it's hard to find people maybe that are willing to do that, or have the ambition to do that, you know, or it's just one of those things where it, you know, may not be the right person for that job, but that doesn't mean that there's another job on the same crew that, you know, that they couldn't find something that they really like enjoying to do. Right? So,
We'd like to welcome our newest partner here at AC Media, the Freeman Group. Freeman Group Financial works closely with business owners, professionals, and retirees as their primary custodial wealth manager. The Freeman Group is targeting contractors and people in the construction industry as they move forward. The Freeman Group is a great choice for all your financial wealth management with a local touch. We look forward to having the Freeman Group on our podcast several times throughout the next 12 months with specific financial educational episodes. Sublier Trinity is Atlantic Canada's newest drywall and interiors contractor. Sublier Trinity is a joint effort between Trinity Energy Group, local Division 7 experts for over 17 years in Atlantic Canada, and Sublier Constructors, a highly reputable commercial interiors company based in Ottawa since 1986. Sublier Trinity has been performing work on commercial projects throughout Atlantic Canada this year, while planning for more growth in the years to come. We'd like to thank our partner, Pivot Accounting. If you're a contractor or small to medium-sized business owner in the construction industry and are looking to outsource your payroll, accounting services, and financial needs, Pivot Accounting is a great option. Yeah, that's an interesting point you make. Like, I think that's where, like, you know, it could be a paving company like Brown's Paving. Like, that's what we're talking about now as you're here, but it could be any company providing any service.
mm-hmm.
It's hard whenever you have, you know, people that have different skill sets, and
Sure.
it takes a lot of leadership and management
Yep.
and communication to like
It's
maneuver around and give an opportunity here for someone to try this, see if it works. How far do you let it go if it's not working? Where else could they fit? You know, we're going to move this around. We need this spot filled in 6 months. In a year, we got all this work coming up. Like, and then, you know, when it comes to people, like, people get offended. People want to be good at things that they're not good at. We all have that, right? I wish I was good at this. I'm just not. It's hard to admit it. It's how do you know, I just, as you were saying that, it makes me think of just the challenges, you know, in leadership to deal with things. Because sometimes you might not want to have that conversation. It's going okay. And it's like, you know, you're in the middle of it, but you know, it doesn't help. You know, it's just to leave things as they are if they're not working.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the reality is there's lots of people out there that are working, that have jobs, and they're, you know, they understand maybe that this job isn't for me. I'm not doing what I want to do.
And that's what it is. It's a job. It's a sort of purpose. You have to make a living. You got to make money. But they don't really want to be doing it. Yeah. And they're maybe not that good at it.
Yeah.
Right?
So when you get to, you know, a job like paving, there's lots of guys that go into it thinking they know exactly what they want to do. Like, there's guys I know that it's the same as people that do long haul trucking. I mean, that's a lifestyle. That's not a job. That's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
But when you start looking,
but that could, maybe you could use the same thing when it comes to civil or paving or construction in general. A lot of these scopes of work, like, it's a lifestyle.
100%.
If you're working in masonry or drywall, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the paving crew, like, for, you know, I'm sure that in the middle of summer when there's, you know, paving crews out on the highway and there's, you know, people driving by, there's kids looking out the back window seeing those steamrollers go up and down the highway, and they're saying, I want to do that. I'd love to do that. You know what I mean? And fast forward 10 years and they're applying for a job. Say, I want to roll asphalt. Okay, well, what's your experience? Well, I don't have any. Well, how do you get it? You can't go to school. You can't. What are you going to do? So you got to be willing to sacrifice sometimes the equipment, sometimes your patience, you know, sometimes your margin, and just say, okay, we're going to slow it down and we're going to give these guys a shot.
And someone did that for you at a high school.
Somebody did that for me, 100%. That's the reason why I'm at today, right? That's the reason I'm here is because
sometimes it works out.
Sometimes it does.
Obviously, in your case, it's great, but sometimes it doesn't too.
And sometimes it doesn't. But that doesn't mean that there's not a spot somewhere else. So that's the lateral movements within the company. You know, of course, everyone's everyone's looking to punch the golden ticket, right? But I mean, if you're in the construction industry, there's plateaus there that you're going to reach. But I mean,
Yeah.
And maybe I'm there now. I just don't know it yet, but I've definitely enjoyed the ride here. I definitely appreciate every opportunity I was given within the company to get where I'm at today.
Yeah.
And it's because of that I'm more than happy to get in here and scream from the rooftop of this podcast room about the company, what it's done for me, what it does for everybody that's there now.
Yeah.
It's really great to be in a place that you're not a number.
That's probably the most important thing, right?
It is. And I mean, at the end of the day,
because you're going to get that in a lot of construction experiences. That's all you're a number, and you're one company to the next. If you're a unionized employee, if you're
sure. Yeah. But it's it's nice to feel appreciated and all that stuff. And it's, it's hard to come by sometimes when you're certain companies or even in a certain industry, it's just not, it's not unheard of, I guess.
Well, yeah, too. You're in a mentality like in the industry, it's fast paced.
Yep.
Really, the two pillars are time and money. I mean,
and that's what it comes down to.
Whether or not the company has the structure or the leadership mentality to work around time and money, those two pillars to build something that's inclusive right. That's what you're always doing. Yeah. Because it's still going to be about time and money.
Sure. At the end of the day. Yeah. At the end of the day. So. But no, it's one of those things. Like I say, I mean, we're still beating around the bush on this crew thing, but we got the 50 guys, and then the other side of our business too that we're into is concrete blocks. So we do like our landscaping blocks, be it like 2 by 2 by 4 retaining wall blocks. Yeah, metric ton a piece. They're the world block system.
Okay.
So we've got.
Do they sell blocks that are filled or no?
Yeah, so they're solid pour. Okay. Yeah, solid pour blocks that, we've got 3 people on the concrete crew as well. We got a husband and wife there, work together every day, and they've got another guy with them, and they do all our block productions. So wow, it's really picked up. I mean, it's a business that, especially like we've got certain areas in and around Sussex and neighboring communities where like floodwaters in the spring is a big thing. So one of the biggest uses that we're seeing those blocks used for actually is just for like land retention and protection. So you're seeing a lot of these bigger block wall projects going in, and it's helping with, the flooding is one thing, but flooding and wind, and that's creating breakwater that creates erosion that people have been dealing with and losing properties, like say in the Grand Bay and the Grand Lake area, like in around kind of water communities. Yeah. So it's been really big for us, like to be able to supply these blocks to people and kind of help protect their property, right?
Right. So. And so you do supply them, and then sometimes install them with the husband and wife that work.
We'll have.
They're on the retail side.
They're on the production side of it. So we did focus on some installation. We still do a few, but it's typically we'll work with within the confines
a landscaping company that's buying from you.
Sure, right. Yeah, other local contractors will supply. We'll kind of give them, when it comes to like contractors and stuff, we'll try to give them a little bit of a break on the blocks as well for cost, so they can kind of pass that on to the customer.
And stamped walkways is another big thing. Do you do the same thing with that, similar to the concrete blocks?
So our stamped asphalt, typically the paving crew that goes out, like if they're paving their driveway, they'll actually perform the stamping as well. And then we'll have.
Is that a new thing? Or
it's been around for a while.
Is it popular? Is it trending right now?
It always kind of did commercially. So you didn't really see a lot of like residential stamping. From my understanding, when it kind of first started, it was almost like a franchise, whereas like certain companies and certain demographics could buy into the franchise and then they'd be supplied products, but they had their kind of, would say, their region. Okay. So you couldn't, if you were kind of stuck between, and where we were in Sussex, we were kind of stuck between 2 companies that had already had that franchise of with the company. Right. So we weren't really available, but we were in World of Asphalt in Charlotte, actually North Carolina. That would have been 2012, and we actually met with a company down there that was asphalt stamping, supplies, epoxies, and everything you need to do it. So we went for a training course down there, and kind of decided it was something that we were going to throw our hat in the ring at. And,
Right.
you know, we've grown it quite a bit. It has,
Okay.
yeah, it has. So it's
And the product, like there's different patterns, different colors.
exactly,
right,
yeah.
pick from.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, lots of different patterns. Most of the stuff's on our website. Kind of gives you a quick rundown of it. But yeah, it's pretty neat. You know, it's a nice facade. It's kind of a brick accent, you'll say. You know, it definitely, you know, it's not going to replace like your paver stones because of your variations of colors and stuff. Like it's a different thing, but it's a nice alternative to some of the stuff that's out
good
there.
Option, yeah.
It's a good option, and it's a feasible option compared to you know what you're going to pay for some of those other things, right?
Right. And so if that was sold commercial, like to commercial projects, is it something that you kind of try and get spec'd with architects, or a little bit of sales in that regard?
Yeah, there is enough, like there's kind of enough stuff in the industry and enough information in the industry that they will spec certain coatings and patterns and color choices, you know. If it's somewhere that's already had some done, then we'll have to try to match up colors, like our product versus, you know, what color they would have used, and try to match it up. But yeah, it's basic in design. You know, we've got your cable template that you compact down into the asphalt after it's already been compacted.
Okay.
Once that's done, then you come with your 2-part epoxy after, and different color, like you say, different color choices. Lots of pretty well any color under the sun now is available. Yeah, it's 2-part system. It's water based, but it is a, you know, they used to be cement based. So what you'd see like over time is stuff would start to peel off and stuff. But now with the new products, I mean, everything's come leaps and bounds, right? So
awesome,
it's we've been doing it since 2011, and I haven't had to recode anything yet. So yeah, we've done a few jobs in Nova Scotia actually over the years. Yeah, we did some for the town of Windsor, and did some stuff for like the Halifax municipality for bike trails and stuff. So
right on. And the town of Windsor, was that like some municipal properties? Or?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did.
So you do come over to Nova Scotia to do some installs?
Yeah, here and there. That stuff you can, because the other option, although it's easier to do, you know, while you're paving, when the material's still hot, we can actually reheat existing asphalt surfaces.
Just torch it up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, infrared heaters, and you know, you got to heat it up without burning the asphalt.
Right, so it's very temperature crucial.
Specialized equipment there to do that.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a neat, you know.
It's interesting.
You know, there's all kinds of stuff to it.
Is it often or happen somewhat regularly where you might have a parking lot and then some concrete blocks and stamped walkway? Like, is it ever kind of a package deal for you? Like, I'm sure that's something that would be positive, right? If you're
we
wrap your arms around that scope. And
for sure. Yeah, we've done a few for sure. And I mean, with that, it comes down to, you know, maybe even you get it yourself into a position where the customer doesn't even know that that's something that they need.
And you can work with them on the design
a bit, and try to make something that's functional, right? Like, at the end of the day, we're a company that's just trying to solve problems. You know,
I love that. It's really what everyone's trying to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Like if you got a driveway that needs fixed, well, we're going to fix it. You know, or at least try to coordinate with you and communicate with you what we're going to do as a company to supply you with a product that's going to, you know, last for as long as it should. So that's what it kind of comes down to for us. You know, we're never going to go into a job, you know, especially for our residential and commercial customers, we're never going to go into a job trying to, let's say, be the cheapest price on the page. You know, if you got a handful of quotes, you know, we're not trying to be the cheapest. We don't want to be the most expensive either. That's not the name of the game.
Somewhere in the middle there.
We want to be somewhere in the middle and be very clear and concise in communicating what we intend to do to get you that product or that service or that, you know, that finished driveway, that finished parking lot, that finished walkway, that concrete wall, whatever it may be. You know, that's what we're there for. So
yeah, it's tough to price into that, dial into that, you know. It's like that saying, I think it's like you can pick any two of the three: time, money, and quality, right?
That's right.
You want it done the best and in a certain amount of time, well then you got to pay for it. This, you know, pick any two of those three, kind of the same idea. Right?
That's the thing, right? And you know, that's the one. I was reading something one time, and I'm probably gonna jumble this up, but it went something like, you know, the excitement of a cheap price will wear off quicker than the sting of a bad job.
That's a good one.
And that's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? I mean,
It's hard. It depends on the mentality on the other end too, though, right?
100%.
A lot of times, just money's that's all there is.
And you know what? It's
the
with the price and cost of everything now. You know, it's understandable, but you know, you just we gotta sell ourselves and sell our products. You know, at the end of the day, it's not about, you know, sometimes you'll get that conversation that you know, I got a price from another contractor and they're, you know, $1,000 cheaper, or maybe $2,000 cheaper, or maybe they're more. And that's fine. You know, then you're not going to have that conversation. But when you have a situation like that where there's somebody that's cheaper, well, you got to say, like, you know, it kind of comes back on the customer a little bit. Like, why do you think they're cheaper? Like, do you know for certain that they're doing the same things we are? You know, and if they are and they're cheaper, then that's a very good viable option, you know?
Yeah.
But I know, like, for us, like, when we put a price on something, it's, you know, it's kind of our best kick at the can most of the time, right? So it's a situation where they may call and say, well, so-and-so is, you know, it's so much cheaper than you. Well, if they're a reputable company, and there's companies like in certain demographics that if people call, that's kind of borderline out of our service area. There's companies that we recommend in every demographic, right?
So throughout Sussex and Moncton, like
especially like we'll say St. John and Moncton. You know, there is some overlap from both sides, right? But you know, luckily there seems to be lots of work, you know, for everybody. So you know, we're not trying to do anything in direct competition, you know. But if there's a situation where, you know, especially in like the residential side of things, right? So, but yeah, you know, there's some good companies out there, and sometimes, you know, we end up recommending them, or if they say that they got a price from them, then, you know,
right. If it's a company that has a 5 or 6 man crew, doesn't have the same overhead costs, does a good job, of course they're going to have a lower number most of the time.
That's right.
And they're located in that local area, and maybe it's harder for you to get to. So just recommend it, right?
And for every good company, you know, there's people need to be on the lookout for the companies that are, you know, paper won't refuse ink. So they can write whatever they want on that piece of paper and hand it to you, and you're looking at that price on the bottom, and you put the two quotes side by side, and they say the exact same thing. You know, going to dig out on suitable material, going to pave with X amount, you know, 3 inches or 2.5 inches of asphalt. Well, just because it says that on the paper doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you're going to get for a finished product, right? Yeah. And if you're seeing a pretty big spread in the gap, you know, it's kind of, you got to do your due diligence, you know, as a consumer as well, right? So, but it's tough because, like I say, you can have quotes that look like apple to apples, and you got finished products that's apples to oranges.
Kind of like the golden rule of business is do what you say you're going to do, how you say you're going to do it, when you say you're going to do it, and you'll be
that's
okay.
Right. Yeah, you'll be good to go.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, that's right.
What about this Easy Street? Cold asphalt, is that?
Yeah, so we're essentially, we would
can install it minus 20.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we're kind of we'll say Eastern Canada, the Maritime provinces.
Retailer,
kind of the exclusive, exclusive producer and retailer for that. So,
and you manufacture that?
Yeah, we manufacture it in house. Yeah.
So what's different about the manufacturing process with
it's
product that's?
Yeah, so the big thing for the Easy Street, typically, if you've got like a cold mix asphalt, it's kind of a one shot deal. So the material and the tar is put together, it's mixed up, it gets dumped on the ground, it gets stockpiled, and then gets used up, you know, throughout the winter season. With Easy Street, it's kind of a 2-part manufacturing process. So along with the specifically formulated product that Easy Street has produced, when you actually, in the manufacturing process, you would dry the material, and you would pre-coat the material, let that material cool down. So what that does is it lets that tar start to really stick to that stone. Because the biggest thing with like cold mix asphalt typically is it doesn't really bond well. If it doesn't bond well to itself, then it's not going to bond well to the road. So the idea behind using dried, pre-coated material is that once it cools down, you put it back through again, you've got a really, really well-coated stone that is really, really sticky. So the idea behind the Easy Street is that it bonds better than most things.
And therefore, the cold temperature, it's still able to bond.
It's still malleable.
Yeah,
it's still malleable, but it's still going to bond to itself. So if you got that pothole I mean, the only
So this is the main value prop then for that product is if it's winter time, you want some patching done. This is the product.
yeah, that's
You're
a
not
big
going to
one.
do
Yeah,
your whole driveway in it.
yeah, no,
Why would
that's
you?
right. That's right. Yeah, the cost would be,
Yeah.
you know, it's on the high side. It's a property maintenance.
Unless you needed something paved
yeah, exactly
during that time of year.
100%. Yeah, I mean, there's customers all the time that come in, buy a couple bags to fix a pothole in their driveway. You know, and it works great. It's cost effective for what they're doing. But like service trenches and stuff like that, that's a big one too. Like the municipalities, like there's nothing worse than trying to maintain gravel or crushed rock in a service cut in the middle of a busy road all winter long. Yeah. So the idea behind the cold mix asphalt, especially with Easy Street, where it stays very malleable, and you can actually pave over it with hot mix in the summer. You don't have to chisel it out or do anything with it, right? It can stay in place and you can be paved right over top. Is that you can get those service trenches or those potholes fixed up, and it saves you from maintaining them throughout the winter.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking of like some commercial projects where obviously you never get the schedule go the way you want it, and you're thinking maybe different types of buildings. Like schools are opening in the fall, but what about a public space or a multi-res or, you know, a private developer who has a building opening that just got finished? It's December. Yeah. The temperature's now -10. It's going to stay that way for a few months, and he wants to open the building. I mean, would he not consider to use this product to pave, or are you just going to use a regular product?
Yeah, you would typically with something like
for
that,
a parking lot of that size.
You'd want to hold off, because the cost is significant compared to your standard. You know,
but what about the cost? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you could hold off.
Yeah, it gets a little tricky. Like you kind of got to weigh out your costs and stuff on it. So, but yeah, no, it's but we've used it on like bridge,
but still
like
compared to a
wooden
building
bridge
being
decks.
vacant, but
that's right.
Although a parking lot, it's going to keep you from occupancy maybe sometimes.
It could definitely, but there's all kinds of products out there, but the Easy Street, that's a big one. So we ship that all over the Maritimes, you know.
And sometimes in Quebec and Central Canada a bit too.
I'm not sure how. Like I know, like Labrador, we've shipped some to Labrador, like Memorial University, Newfoundland.
Okay.
Like their service department, like their maintenance crew has ordered it.
Do you guys have internal like logistics for shipping stuff out too, like in trucking and stuff, or you just send it?
Like sub it out kind of thing. You know, use the local logistics companies like Armour Day.
Of course,
and then a lot of those, like a lot of these properties and stuff will have their own. You know, they may have their own. What's the word I'm looking for here? But they'll have like their own.
Trucking crew or their own?
They may have their own trucking. Like they may pick it up in like bulk, or they may, because it can be, we can ship it in bulk, we bag it
on deliveries,
totes, stuff like that. But if it's one of those things, like if they have an account with a logistics company, then they'll just kind of give us a call and say, truck's going to be there at 4:00. I want 2 pallets of this, or I want a couple bulk sacks of this, and we'll just make sure it's loaded, ready to go.
Sure.
Go from there.
Nice. What about on the machinery side? Like, are you seeing a lot of new technology and stuff when it comes to the gear and the machineries? I mean, it's kind of pretty standard. Yeah, you need the standard pieces of equipment to do paving.
Right. Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah, grader, asphalt spreader, roller, stuff like that. Like for us, like, I mean, we're kind of, we do a lot of like laser instruments and stuff like that, right? So we
for
check
leveling
our grades for leveling and stuff like that. But I mean, there's definitely, the technology is like unreal for what's coming out.
Rotary lasers.
Exactly. TopCon. Yeah. So
what color is the laser? Is it green or red?
Red. Yeah, ours are red. I mean, I think there's all kinds of variations.
You're just picking it up with a reflector or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. You've got kind of a head unit that monitors. You've got your stick that shows you your increments of grade, and from there you kind of base your percentages off distance and stuff like that.
Do you need to outsource the survey crew like a civil would sometimes, or no?
We not typically. I mean, we do have some stuff in house, like total stations and stuff like that we can actually do our own grading plans and stuff. But for the most part,
because some driveways you get a lot of different.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, with streets, if there's let's say you've got curb and gutter on a street somewhere. Well, I mean, essentially, you're just putting a 2% grade to the road, to the curb, and it's pretty straightforward stuff, right? You've got all of a sudden you've got kind of, we'll say, controls in place that show you where you need to be. But like for us, we do have some. We've got some instruments for the grader like that's going to help, like basically like we've got like a sloping laser for it, and it's got a head unit on the mold board of the grader that can help when you're in the, we'll say the finicky grades, you know, when you're kind of splitting hairs to get water to run one way or the other.
Right.
We'll utilize something like that to definitely to help us out, you know, anything that's going to make life easier for people. Right. So and ensure that, you know, the water is going where it needs to go.
For sure. And so with the like as far as New Brunswick and those areas, you know, are there other paving companies the same size, bigger? You guys would be one of the more prominent, like, long lasting.
We've been around for a while, and you know, there's huge companies, you know, there's huge paving companies in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, right, guys that, you know, that are into everything. You know, you look at, you know, some of the big guys out there, and they, you know, whether they're in the waste management and all this other stuff, right?
Civil waste management, asphalt, flat works.
Exactly.
Like here it'd be Ocean and Dexter's and some of those kind of guys,
exactly.
right?
So there's some big companies out there, but we'll say, like, as far as like a private kind of solely paving company, you know, we're kind of that mid-size. We're a pretty good size company. Niche, right? Good niche. We're in a comfortable place where, you know, the guys can go out, they can pave driveways, or if we have to, we can combine some crews and go put some asphalt in the ground, whether it be a big parking lot or a street somewhere, you know, whatever we got to do. That's kind of the benefit of having a core group of guys that have worked in all aspects of the industry is that when they're called upon to help out, you know, they've all got, you know, they got their ducks in a row, they know what's up, so we can kind of join forces and stuff and make stuff happen when need be. But for the most part, we've got our prep crews, we've got our paving crew, we've got our passion crew, we've got the concrete, and then we've got our plant, and then we got the two guys, the two mad scientists in the shop trying to keep everything together,
and the two secretaries holding everything together on that end.
So and then wintertime, you know, we do have some plowing operations and stuff, but for the most part, there's you know, 3 to 4 guys, like the supervisors that would be there in the summer. They kind of move into the shop, and again, I mean, that's
kind of your part of your maintenance, right? To snow removal, add it in.
Yeah. So then they're in there all winter trying to glue stuff back together and make sure we're ready for another season.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So did you ever have like some of these larger companies in New Brunswick that are busy and have jobs where they might call you and sub something out to you, kind of thing? Is that happen?
Yeah, it can happen. Yeah, for sure it can. Yeah. And I mean, that's at the end of the day, like, you know, we're all just out there trying to stay busy and get work
so you
done,
do have like a lot of communication and almost working together with the competition for the most part. There's always the other side of things too, but
anytime, you know, anytime that, you know, they'd reach out and need a hand or vice versa, you know, we're definitely, you know, we're not blacklisting anybody, you know what I mean? We're, at the end of the day, you know, we've all been in situations where, you know, you need a hand, or if you can give a hand, you know, and for the greater good, you know. Any advice for anyone out there who has a small paving company or who's starting one or who, the biggest thing for me is don't sacrifice quality over quantity. Like if you're somebody that was thinking about getting slow pace, do good quality work, 100%, slowly move up toward 100%. Yeah. Because I mean, the biggest thing I think is, and everybody knows, is, you know, a bad news or bad reputation is going to travel way faster than a good one. So it's pretty small place here in Atlantic, Canada. That's right. It's hard to hide much too long. If there was somebody that was, you know, tempted to get into the industry, I think that's what I'd say is just, you know, take your time, do everything as it should be. And I'm just thinking here in Nova Scotia with how busy things are, same in New Brunswick, PEI too. There's room for some smaller companies to start doing some commercial work, and there also has to be, right? These companies can't do everything, right? And they're too busy to do everything. And that's the thing. And I think that as you progress as a paving company, you can really get caught up in, I don't want to say the easy work, but like I said about that long duration stuff, the logistics are so much easier on bigger jobs, because if you may pave a street, you're there for 3 days. You pave a good sized parking lot, you could be there for a day, you could be there for 3 days. So the logistics are so much easier on that bigger work. So sometimes you'll get into a situation where, you know, if you're a big company, you need a lot of work to maintain what you have, right, to move forward. So there's there's fierce competition in that market, but it kind of leaves an open kind of niche area where you've got driveways and you've got maybe smaller parking lots and different stuff that they sometimes can't even get a price for because it's just too difficult, right? Because everyone is busy. I mean, I think construction as a whole, people are busy, and it's hard. And I know even for us, like I know some of our customers that have called, or I shouldn't even say customers, but potential customers, people calling for estimates. I bet you we've done over 1,000 estimates this spring, and there's probably 300 more. If I opened up the list to see, there's probably 300 estimates left to do that, these people might have called in April, but we just, we're
so the majority of those like be new builds or
redos?
Yeah,
new builds or redos or just people that we haven't necessarily paved for before, but want to get paved. So.
Well, I'm seeing like even here in Nova Scotia, like there's some tenders going like in the rural part of Nova Scotia that jobs under 5 million where you just can't get anyone to price. The scopes of work. You can barely get 2 quotes for each scope. It's hard. It's almost impossible.
I know with last year, like there was such an influx in pricing, like, and such an increase, I guess you should say, that like municipalities were kind of caught off guard where, they had budgeted for the previous year or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're seeing some of these prices roll in, and once you factor in the increased costs, like, you might see an engineer's estimate at 1.5 and the job's coming in at 2.2, 2.3. Where do you come up with that extra $600,000-$800,000, right? It just, it's shocking, right? But it's, unfortunately, we're all kind of stuck in the same vice. We're all feeling the pressure of cost increases, and it's hard. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough to keep up with it and firm your margins, and then just deciding what to price, what not to is tough too.
That's right. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that's another thing in like the industry that's probably not talked about, but it should be, is like margins are tight. Like, I mean, it's not like, you go to the grocery store and you pay $5 for a 2-liter bottle of pop, and that bottle of pop costs 50 cents to make. It's not like that with asphalt and paving and construction. Yeah. Like, you got your costs factored in, and
heavy costs.
Heavy costs. I mean, I know like our margins are tight enough that if our if they go to, let's say, a small driveway, if our paving crew is there for some reason for an extra hour and it takes a little bit more asphalt, the margins are gone.
Margins are gone.
That's how tight, that's how tight stuff is run, right?
Compared to like maybe some like take like a drywall interiors and that we're cladding, where material is 25, labor 75%, so labor intensive. Whereas higher end products, maybe I'm just talking about building envelope and interiors, because that's my background. So like cladding would be more like a 50-50, sometimes 60-40 split between labor and materials. So expensive. But for asphalt, was it 50-50? What's your or is the material cost a lot? It's considerably higher than the labor. It's not the intense part.
Like it depends. Like if you're looking at like a small, like let's say like a driveway downtown Halifax, like you're saying like 500 square feet, like a small driveway. In that case, your labor versus material, like your labor it's like 75-25.
Okay, labor, it is.
Yeah, right. But if you get, and I mean, as much as it sounds a little bit crazy, but there is that perfect size driveway, where the guys have room to work,
right crew size,
just everything just fits. You got just enough guys, and that's like
your sweet spot.
Yeah, and that's like that 2,500 to 3,000 square foot driveway. It's kind of like that optimal size where everything just works out.
Okay,
right? So, and that's kind of what you're looking at, like where it's like. That's when you kind of hit that. At best, you're probably going to get 50-50, right? Like for your kind of, if your cost ratio is like material versus labor. But for us, most of the time, it's kind of on the labor side of things that we're kind of the heavy side of the ratio, we'll say.
Right.
Because I mean, it takes time, right?
Yeah.
So
no, labor's
yeah. But
typically the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure. Like, and you look at it. No way. Like if it wasn't such an area, like when you're talking about like driveways and stuff, like there at times, like you're looking at getting a driveway done for like the same price that you'd pay for a good hardwood floor.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But it's the fact that your hardwood floor, you know, that you laid yourself, but still, you know, paid $4 a square foot for, or $5
Yeah.
a square foot for,
Yeah.
you know, you did a 100 or 140 square foot room. When you start talking about 1,000 or 1,200 or 1,500 square foot driveway, it starts to add up. But that's kind of your comparison, right? Like it's, if you want to talk square foot price, sometimes you vary, you know, the low side of 4, you know, sometimes 12 to 15 if it's a small job, but it's never priced like that. Like for us, it's just, it comes down to the scope of work. It comes down to tons and time. So what we're going to take for material, how long we project that it's going to take us to do the job, and then we'll go from there. So
how concerned are you with where things are at and where they're headed is with labor shortage? It's a big thing for everyone.
It is a big thing. It is a big thing. I mean, we, you know, I, you know, used to see in the spring of the year, like it would be nothing to see 40, 50 resumes, you know, stacked up on my boss's desk. And you just don't see that anymore. You haven't seen that for the last 5 or 6 years. And like the turnaround is pretty heavy, like of new hires, and they come in, and it's a tough job. There's nothing easy about it. It's hot, it's smelly.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's, you know,
waking up, going to hockey practice every day.
It's a mission, right? But, you know, and it, you know, pays well for the most part in the industry. You know, it's up there, but it's still hard to find people that are going to want to do it, you know. And so it's tough. I mean, I think that there's, like you say, there's no question that it's a topic, I think, of discussion on a lot of people's radar. Is it's harder to find people to go to work. And, you know, it's not your typical 9 to 4 or 9 to 5. I mean, most of the guys that come into work, they're there at 6:30, they're grabbing a coffee, and they're getting their day started by 7. And a lot of guys don't know when they're going home at night. You know,
right? You got to get that day's work done before you can just take off, right?
And, you know, it doesn't come down to the fact of there's this many hours of daylight in a day and we're going to work all of them. It's just, it comes down to, you know what, this is the job, or these are the 3 jobs, or these are, you know, the 4 jobs that we have today. You know, let's get them done. Most of the guys will take it upon themselves. If they're close to being done a job at 4 o'clock, chances are they're going to stay till 5 or 6 to finish it. It's an extra few hours, you know?
Yeah.
And they have the opportunity to do that on the prep crew.
Yeah.
The paving crew is a little bit different. Obviously, you can't, you know, if you're not going to leave something half paved unless you absolutely have to. Like, there are limitations on what we can get done in a day, for sure. And there's, you know, procedures and stuff that you can take to be prepared to pave the next day in that job. But for the most part, if you start paving a driveway, you know, if the bell tolls 5, you're not shutting down and going home. Right?
You don't have that luxury.
You don't have that luxury. You're getting it finished. So
yeah, same thing with your pouring concrete. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Anything else, Nathan, we didn't touch on that you wanted to mention? Talked about a lot of different things.
Not
for
that
sure.
I can think of. Probably think about it when I walk out the door.
Yeah, it happens a lot. You know, finish up and say, "Oh, man, I wish I would have brought that up." Right?
Yeah,
but,
no.
It's been great. It's been great chatting with you and all about Brown's Paving and the market in New Brunswick too. With a lot more guests coming from New Brunswick, so getting some perspective on.
It's great to be able to sit down and talk about some stuff and get it out there. And it's you know, it's a great platform for people to come on and talk about. I mean, it's conversations that you don't get to have every day with people, and you know, it's good to get it out there. You know, I know I've learned a few things watching your podcast and stuff too. Like it's interesting when you're in the industry, and you know what, a lot of the times it's interesting even if you're not, because you get to kind of peek behind the curtain and see, you know, how things are going for local businesses, you know, or local contractors, and kind of get a window into what they're dealing with. So
it is, you're right. I find that too, like just a different perspective from different people, right? It's GC one week and then a great subcontract the next, and architect, you know, so everybody's got the different all the pieces fit together.
Yeah, exactly. No, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, it's been great, man. Cheers.
Perfect.
Thanks, Nathan.
Dan.
Cheers.
Okay, buddy. Bye.
We'd like to thank our longtime sponsor, Cook Insurance. Cook is your trusted insurance broker in Atlantic, Canada for 50 years. The Cook team opens up opportunities for contractors by proactively managing the requirements of their bond facility. They expand levels of support and negotiate preferred rate, all while prioritizing ease of doing business. A Navicord partner since 2020, Cook is one of the largest construction brokers in Canada and offers national strength with a local touch. Whatever your insurance needs are, Cook has you covered. The team at Atlantic Construction Podcast has been able to build a strong relationship with the folks at FCA Surety. FCA Surety is strongly invested in supporting the Atlantic construction marketplace and helping contractors to build their businesses. We highly recommend them.